Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream. Time to look at the news, what's been making the news here today in Spain. And we'll also take a look, as always, at some comments that have been left on the channel recently. Back in the normal room today with my green screen behind me, no longer on the road. And I'm going to be honest, good to be back in Madrid. Good to be back after a few days on the road. As you guys know, people that watched the live stream last Sunday from my hotel room in Santander. A nice view I had. Now, second half of the live stream, we'll go into the chat section, check out what is happening there, so stay tuned for that. And if you are in the chat section, say hello. First piece of news today, and NATO spending on the agenda again. And as we can see here, Spain has fallen to last place in defence spending among NATO allies. With 1.28% of its GDP devoted to defence, Spain is the country that proportionally allocates the least resources to military spending of the 32 NATO allies, according to data collected by the Atlantic Alliance and released on Monday. Spain has fallen in 1 year from second to last place on the bottom of the list, behind Slovenia, Luxembourg and Belgium. It is far, therefore, from the 2% of GDP agreed by the Allies in 2014 and currently reached by 23 NATO countries in a scenario of an unprecedented increase in defence spending and military equipment purchases since Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. This emphasis on rearming Europe has meant that the European allies and Canada will, for the first time this year, see their average defence spending slightly exceed 2%. So 23 of the NATO countries on board with that 2%, but Spain now lagging behind everybody else in that NATO group of countries, spending only 1.28% on defence. So Pedro Sanchez, I think some of the promises that he made to increase defence spending, considering the fact that the NATO summit was held here maybe last year or the year before, can't remember. And of course, probably embarrassed by the situation, Pedro said, yeah, well, we'll increase it, don't worry, you can count on us. Not sure if he gave a date. He might have given a date to increase that defence spending, don't know. But still not there yet, only 1.28%. And some countries, for example, Canada, as we saw there, spending more than 2% because of that Russian invasion of Ukraine and the potential threat to the European Union and other European countries, of course. So there we go. Maybe Spain needs to pull out the old dedo. Second one here, and Pedro Sanchez has had to delay his flight to Spain, his return flight to Spain, due to his Falcon plane engine failure. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has been forced to delay his return from to Spain from Brussels. He is there after attending a dinner briefing for the 27 leaders of the EU. The Air Force Falcon aircraft in which he was due to fly to Madrid has broken down. An unspecified problem with the Falcon aircraft in which he left for Madrid meant that the aircraft had to return to the airport from which it had taken off minutes earlier. After checking the extent of the fault, they decided to send another Falcon from Spain to pick up the PM. The return to Madrid, scheduled for this morning, was finally postponed until this afternoon. So no problems for Pedro Sanchez to get back to Madrid when that plane was considered not able to fly. They just call up and send another one to pick up the Prime Minister of the country. That's how the system works here. No commercial flights for Mr. Sanchez. Could have probably hopped on a commercial flight from Brussels and been back sooner, but has to go on that private plane, the Falcon, that he also has taken in the past, I think to a concert he once went. He took it to a concert in Benicàssim, which made the opposition parties here quite angry, using that plane for personal reasons. So the Prime Minister's Falcon plane experiencing some engine problems this morning. And the third piece of news here, and young people in Spain, no surprises, under the age of 35, are the ones who feel the closest to their parents emotionally in the whole EU. In Spain, the importance of the family is very important. 56.6% of young people aged between 18 and 34 say they feel extremely close to their parents from an emotional point of view, the highest rate in the EU, where the average is 37.9%, and 70.6% say they interact with their parents at least once a day. The EU average is 49.2%. These are some of the conclusions of the study, Young People, Opportunities and Futures, presented this Tuesday by the Social Observatory of the La Caixa Foundation, which analyses and compares the way in which they socialise, the frequency of interactions, the size of their social networks, their level of social isolation, and the social factors of inequality that affect their emancipation. And I suppose that if you are living at home, which a lot of people do here in Spain, until, not sure whether until 35, but at least until, late 20s, living at home, you're going to see your parents on a daily basis, right? If you're living away from home in another city, maybe it's only once a week, once a month, every couple of months, don't know. But living at home every day, hola mamá, hola papá, ¿dónde está mi desayuno? Which would be something that you would probably still hear. Comments. Michael is the first one here. There are not too many people on the planet, but too many people closeted together in the wrong places. Some birth rates are actually down quite a bit. Yeah, Spain, for example, Michael. Portugal as well, no doubt. Birth rates are down. But we saw the other day a comment from somebody saying, let's talk about the elephant in the room, global overpopulation. And some people replied saying, it's not the case. World population will go down from 2050 onwards. But the fact of the matter is, I think if you look at the size of the human population compared to 100 years ago, there's a lot more of us on the planet today, putting a strain on the resources that we have, and also on borders, which is a big problem politically in the European Union. And I don't know how many comments I see every day, people talking about the issue of immigration. Number one issue in many countries, and will probably decide the election in the UK. Don't know, just putting it out there. But considering the amount of comments that I see on this channel related to illegal immigration, a lot of people don't like it. Next one here from YouTubers. That Santander beach looks more inviting than the crowded hot Mediterranean beaches. Yeah, they do look inviting from afar, until you hop in the water, that is, and you realise that they are not the Mediterranean beaches, of course, because the open seas, the cold waters of that Cantabrian Sea, I think, is what they call it there. I imagine the water's chilly. I didn't go for a swim, but I imagine it is chilly, having seen surfers come out of the water with full steamer wetsuits, which is what they called. Long arms, long legs on your wetsuit. It's called a steamer. So people coming out of the surf with wetsuits on, similar to what you would see in Portugal. But on the Mediterranean, you would not see people swimming with wetsuits. But in the north of Spain, off the Portuguese coast, probably also in Huelva, down there in the Atlantic, you would see people quite trying to keep warm in the water. Next one here from Alan, and it says, "Hi Stu, I don't understand why Spanish are moaning about English, but I don't think they are. I'm Scottish-Irish with an EU passport, so I can't go to Spain without paying my way. I spend my money on food, drink, and healthcare. What more do the Spanish want?" I think probably a typo there. What more do the Spanish want? But they are stuck with it, so the sunshine... what's this? What they want, but they are stuck with it, so the sunshine belongs to everyone. So get on with it for the people who are moaning. Cheers out. Yeah, Al, thanks for that. Probably could have used a comma or two in that paragraph there, but managed to get the gist of what you're trying to say here. You come to Spain, you spend your money. Why are people complaining? Well, the fact of the matter is, Alan, that not everybody's complaining. It's only certain groups around the country. For example, the other day I mentioned it in Cantabria. I saw English people there. In fact, a lot of English people there, surprisingly enough. But of course, the ferry comes into Santander, so people hop off, spend the night in the city, checking out what it has to offer. So I saw a lot of English people and other people from European countries there. And I didn't see anybody complaining about the tourism because it's a well-behaved tourism. But in parts of Spain where tourism is not so well-behaved, people complain about a certain group of people, the people that they think are misbehaving badly. And sometimes for that, people from the United Kingdom, we say English in the press because here in Spain, anybody from the United Kingdom is un inglés. That's what you get called. Just the same as anybody from Asia is un chino. Okay, people don't distinguish. They don't say, "Oh no, it's un coreano." No, it's un chino because he looks like that, and that's what people say here. They don't really go into detail when it comes to naming somebody. So you might be from Wales, you might be from Scotland, but you'll get called English unless you tell somebody specifically that you're not there. So everybody just gets piled into the same group. But it just depends where you are. And if you're in those hotspot coastal resorts where people have a few too many drinks and maybe start smashing stuff and breaking things around them and annoying other people, that's when people start to get annoyed. And as I said, everybody gets thrown into the same camp as being English, even though you might be, as you said there, from Scotland or Ireland, or even though Ireland is not part of the UK except for the north, everybody just gets thrown into the same boat. Next one. We saw that one from Alan. This one here from Richard. I've always been welcomed in Spain. My brother who lives there and speaks not a word of the language is accepted. No sign of intolerance at all. Yeah, again, Richard, it probably depends where your brother is and where you go for your holidays. And of course, a lot of the complaints are not directed at older British people or Irish people or whatever who are residing in Spain or having their holidays in a place where they're not creating any problems. So if you're going to a place like Torrevieja, sitting down, with other people the same age and going about your day-to-day, maybe having a drink, like I saw the other day in Cantabria, people inside bars and restaurants, people in their 50s, 60s, 70s who are in Spain, sit down, don't speak a word of the language, but I saw some people trying to make an effort, people making an effort trying to communicate. Although not very clear what people were trying to say, people were trying to make an effort with the language, and that always goes a long way as to making people accept you more, or at least that's been my experience. One here from NT. In Malta, we have the same problem with the small island of Comino. It's total takeover by tourists and tourist providers. Us locals can't even go anymore. That was the problem we saw the other day in Mallorca. The locals in Mallorca decided to protest on a beach about the number of tourists that rock up every day to this beach. Can't remember what the name of the place was, Cala there something. Apparently anywhere between 3,000 and 4,000 people a day go there. Lots of people just to take photos. The old Instagram craze, of course, where you go to these picturesque places, take selfies or other pictures and post them on the internet. Don't know if people are staying for very long, but obviously the place so picturesque that people just want to have that, Instagram memory, if you like. It used to be a Polaroid memory. Now it's an Instagram memory. And Malta the same. In fact, I imagine all throughout the Mediterranean, you can find places like this that suffer the same problems. And the locals are fed up. Can't go there anymore. Not like in the old days where you could do whatever you want. Now you are invaded by tourists. And I imagine that if you are a local, you put up with it. But you might not like it anymore. And apparently, from what I read, the civil guard had to intervene the other day because some people got a little bit aggressive. The anti-tourism movement might have got a little bit out of hand. Don't know. I just read the headline. Didn't read the whole article, but the civil guard had to intervene. One from Coffer. Hey Stu, was this or that your first time in Santander? Thanks, Coffer, for that. No, it was not my first time in Santander. I was there many a year ago. In fact, probably going back to when I first came to live in this country. We spent maybe a weekend, maybe a few days during the week in Cantabria and, of course, Santander. We travelled to the west side of Cantabria Back then, going to places like San Vicente de la Barquera, Comillas, Santillana, all of those famous places up there in Cantabria. So not my first time, but I can't remember it all that well because all I remember is that it was raining very, very heavily, and there wasn't much outdoor activity going on. And every time you did try and see something, whether you went to those caves in Altamira, it was peeing down. So not an enjoyable experience. And I went back to the Cantabria region with my parents a few years ago, maybe another time with the family, can't remember exactly, because it's a nice part of the country, and it's not that far from Madrid, around 4 hours, and a nice scenic drive up there, of course, through that green Spain, which is always a great thing to do, especially when you live in the dust bowl that is Madrid, or the centre of Spain. To get into that green Spain, it is nice. And the final one here from Casas del Sol Boutique Bed and Breakfast. Having 78.8k followers, you should always be asking for an upgrade at this point in your influencer career. Yeah, thanks for that. I imagine that there are influencers out there that, or whatever they are, however you can define that, people that have followings on social media, whether it be TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, and go into these places and say, oh, look, I've got 50,000 followers on Instagram. Why don't you give me a free room or an upgrade, and I'll talk about you in my post. And some places probably say, okay, no worries, but I don't do that. I wait for people to get in contact with me. If a company wants to get in contact with me and I like the product that they're trying to sell, for example, an electric bike, I do a video in exchange for use of that bike, so I don't have a problem with that. NordVPN, I use a VPN whenever I travel, so I don't have a problem supporting that product. Some of the other people that send me emails trying to get me to talk about their product, I don't sometimes get back to them because I don't understand, firstly, what the product is, and secondly, because I don't think it's something that you guys, the audience, would be interested in. So I don't reply to a lot of the emails. For example, recently I've had, I think it's a Chinese company, I'm not sure. It's funny when the Chinese representatives get in contact with you, they never use their Chinese name, of course. They always seem to put a European name, and I've got this person called Godfrey, which is a strange name in English. You don't really hear many people called Godfrey anymore. But this chap calls himself Godfrey, and he sends me an email almost 2 or 3 times a week with a different product, trying to get me to talk about it. And again, I've got really no use for the product. I don't understand what the product is, and therefore I wouldn't try and sell it. But I understand that some people with social media support maybe don't do that. They try to flog anything off to the people that view their posts or their videos. But that's not me. Cryptocurrency, again, I don't understand cryptocurrency, so I'm not going to try and sell a cryptocurrency or something that I don't understand how it works or I don't use myself. So maybe I'm different in that regards, maybe I'm not, I don't know. But I would never go into a hotel and say, look, 78,000 subscribers, give me an upgrade, or give me a free breakfast in the morning. That's just me. But I imagine that a lot of people do. Now, into the chat section, I'm going to go in just a moment. Before I do, change the backdrop photo again. This one, another one from Finton, who sent one in the other day, and I like Finton's photography. So we can see here, this one is apparently Torrevieja, down there in Alicante, and a stormy day, to say the least. Bit windy, I think, as well, but some nice, I think this photo's obviously been color graded. Don't think you'd get a photo like that straight out of the camera. So thanks for that, Finton. Nice photo, nice composition, and an interesting shot down there of that storm coming into Torrevieja. And if you've got a similar picture that you would like to see on the backdrop, the email, as you guys know, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send them through to that email address, or any other information that you would like to bring to my attention spainspeaks@gmail.com is how you can do that. So as I said, feel free, send it through to that email address. The like icon also going on the screen. If you haven't hit it yet, please do so. 54 likes we have. So if you don't mind, hit the like icon, please, and we'll see if we get up to a decent tally today. What else do I have to talk about here? Oh, yeah, people that have supported the channel in recent times. People that have bought me a coffee, for example, Olga sent me a very nice email the other day saying that her family, who are living in Spain from Ukraine, down there in Alicante, I think, sent me an email saying that they liked the videos that I put out, sent me some photos as well, which I'll get around to putting on the backdrop, and also bought me some coffee. So many thanks for that, Olga and family, and other people as well that have supported the channel that way. Super thanks is also a way that it can be done. Patreon too, longer term supporters, thank you very much for that. And also the channel members, which I think we're up to around 48 or 49 channel members currently. So if you'd like to join the channel, what is it, for less than the price of a coffee in Madrid, you can join the channel, $1.99 a month. Now, into the chat section I'm going to go. Let's have a look here. Let me scroll up to the top. There we go. Andrew, the first person that I can see here, is coming in from southeast London, where it's overcast today. No surprises there, saying hello to his fellow channel members. John coming in from, I don't know who John's talking to here, maybe Sani. Maybe Sani, coming in from Basingstoke, 22 degrees there today. High Flyer John coming in, evening stew, looking forward to seeing more of the latest trip. All the best, John. Yeah, there will be more videos coming out, John. I managed to, I did a lot of recording. I don't know how many videos I'll be able to get out of it, but at least 3 or 4, I think, with the amount of recording that I did. Basically recording a lot of different experiences in that part of Spain, and also the other parts of the country that I went to on that trip. I did over 1,000 Ks in the car, so I got around and went to some interesting places, and that content will be coming out over the next few weeks once I get it all edited and ready for publishing. What else? TOL coming in from 21 degree. I can't believe it. It's cracked the 20 degree mark there in San Diego. The east coast of the US will be 30 plus today, but on the west coast, San Diego, only 21. Better than the 17, but still not as warm as I get the impression San Diego would normally be at this time. Jose Antonio coming in from Ciudad Real, the royal city. Even though there's no royalty per se there, no kings or queens living in the royal city, or princes or princesses, as far as I know. Maybe there's a couple of people that think they're kings and queens living there, but officially no. But it's called the royal city anyway. Buenas noches, says Renan from LA. Gino coming in from Toledo in Spain. Today is Gino with Isabella, heading to Javier in a few days when they finally got the building permit. Happy to be back in Spain. Good to see you guys back in Spain. Enjoy. Gigi's coming in from Padron, famous for the Padron peppers, of course, up there in Galicia. I think it's in the close to Santiago, is it, Padron? I remember going through there on the way to Santiago, and of course the old Padron pepper, which are not like they used to be. I'm going to be honest. Maybe you can get authentic Padron peppers, but a lot of the peppers nowadays, they're called Padron type, and they're not made, and they're not even from Spain. I think they sometimes come from Morocco or other parts of the country, and they put pimientos tipo Padron. They look the same, these little green, are they called bell peppers, are they? Not sure. These little green peppers. And back in the day when I first went to Galicia, there used to be a saying, and I suppose in Galicia it still exists, that some are spicy, some are not. But nowadays you eat these peppers and virtually none are spicy at all, unless I suppose you get the authentic ones from Padron. So enjoy those if you like them, Gigi, being a vegetarian. And also enjoying an adult beverage. I imagine a glass of wine. I imagine. Janet coming in from Oxford. Good day, Janet. Amanda coming in from, can't remember, Shropshire, I think it is. Tories are desperate. Rolling out Boris, really? Interesting. I'm going to hold back on the comments because a lot of people don't like my political opinions. So I'll refrain from commenting. Gillian coming in with Bob, I imagine. Buenas noches from a warm and sunny Torrevieja. Hoping you are all enjoying. Hope you are enjoying the trip. Back now, Gillian, but yeah, not too bad. Always good to get away, as I said, but good to come home. Victoria coming in from Portimao, cheering on the strong Portugal team tonight. Yeah, I saw that. A lot of talk about Cristiano Ronaldo playing in his, I think it's his sixth Euro Cup. Getting a bit old, getting a bit long in the tooth is Cristiano. Not sure if he'll be as effective as he was back in the day. But of course, in Portugal, as you know, Victoria, Portugal just basically moves around Cristiano, right? And they've got a Spanish trainer who impressed me yesterday. Roberto Martinez, I think is his name. He impressed me yesterday with his grasp of the Portuguese language. Rarely do you see Spanish people speak Portuguese like Mr. Martinez, so he puts in the effort to speak the local language where he's working, the different countries that he's worked in, and apparently he speaks English well as well. His time there in the Premier League and also in other European countries where he has been the manager. JC, finally feeling like I can put some weight on my body. Badly broken leg after 5 weeks. Been watching Michelin Star Madrid Place reviews and hating them. JC, didn't know you broke your leg? Get well. Falcon is a French flying machine, says Al, former pilot, of course, knows that stuff. The Falcon plane that the Prime Minister of Spain uses. Ida saying it's wonderful to hear that youth is close to their parents living at home or not. Here in the USA, it's rare that kids are close to their parents, but they're more staying at home longer. Yeah, here in Spain, it's obviously economic reasons play a big part in that. The families like to stay close. Parents like to keep. I'm not going to say. Control over their kids until a later age. But of course, when you're living at home, you have to play by the house rules. So there is a way. And I've experienced that with some friends. When I was younger, when I first came here, you could see that the parents, sort of economically like to keep a tight control on some of their kids. But obviously they're worried that they'll, have fall on hard times. So better to stay at home until you're financially secure, financially ready to face the big wide world, rather than the mentality that I've seen in Australia, for example, where go and work it out yourself. Here it's sort of like, we'll guide you until you're in your late 20s and maybe 30s, and then we'll help you take your decisions, rather than, like I said, some people that I've seen in Australia, which was, you're 18 or 19, 20, there's the door, go and work it out for yourself. You can come back every now and again, but you've got to stand on your own 2 feet, which was something that I heard quite a lot when I was growing up, that expression. You have to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. Don't depend on other people. And I imagine that's one of the reasons why there is such a cultural difference as well. And a lot of times people go off, become independent, and they do forget about their roots. Pamela's in the chat. Good day, Pamela. Alex coming in from Ballarat down there in Victoria. Sleepless at 3:47 a.m. and -1 or 1 below zero there in Ballarat. Getting a bit chilly in Victoria, I have heard. I listened to Melbourne radio in the morning. Some of those comedy shows, and they have mentioned that it is getting quite chilly in some parts of Victoria and Melbourne, as I said, where they are based. Erica coming in from Terrassa, just made it. Hope you all have a lovely evening. Love the Cantabrico, the waves, cold water, fewer people. Mediterranean is a soupy sea. That is true. Brussels to Madrid, says Jose Luis, with Iberia, 229 in business. How much will it cost to send another plane? And if you don't like it, he can stay there, says Jose Luis. Obviously not a fan of Mr. Handsome. Could have got back in business for $229. Probably could have booked out the whole business area on the plane, and it would have been cheaper than sending that Falcon jet, the replacement there, right? But Prime Minister privileges. Christopher, Boca Raton, Florida, 30 degrees Celsius. Yes, we have roaches here, but also controlled well in most places. Also have snakes, gators, and sharks. Yes, that is true, Christopher. Gators, the gators, and snakes as well. Yeah, there's lots of television programs, gator hunters and snake hunters. They all seem to be based in Florida and parts of that the south of the states there. John. Hi, Stuart. Whenever you do your programs from your garden with your swimming pool in the background, you rich person, any chance of ditching the microphone? What do you mean, John? Don't really understand that. Presentation is better without the big microphone. Yeah, but you don't get the same quality sound, John. That's the issue. I can understand that the sound quality is probably okay, but when you do a broadcast setup like this, you want to try and get broadcast quality sound. It's a little bit fiddly to do the sound on this camera. When you record on the GoPro, which is what I use to film outside, it's a lot easier to use a smaller microphone. But again, not broadcast quality. It would probably be all right, but it's a little bit, as I said, fiddly in this setup here, which is why I use the broadcast mic. And also I use this for other things that I do. So I sort of kill two birds with one stone. But thanks for the input, John. I'll keep it in mind and might make some changes. Roland coming in from 30 degrees Celsius, Minneapolis, humid there. Chrissy saying that it's hot. Diffie Dog saying Polaroid memory, haha, remember the good old days when you take out the roll of film to the pharmacy and have it developed. Roll of 24 pics was $4.99. Yeah, those were the days, right, Diffie? And also sometimes you went and paid your $4.99 and all of your photos were black. Do you remember those days as well? Or they were out of focus, or maybe they were framed badly. Those were also quite common. And when I go home and look at some of the old photos that I took, I am glad that with digital photography you can do a lot of changes. You can make a lot of changes to the photos. For example, the one that we've seen here, add some color. You can reframe, you can reposition the subjects in the photo, get a better quality shot. But with the old cameras, when you had to take the roll of film to the chemist, or you had to take with the Polaroid, those instant ones where it used to come out, you also went in blind as to what the photos would be like, and we heard the stories right back in the day of the chemist always getting a surprise sometimes with the photos that they were developing. We all heard the stories. Janet saying it was exciting, Duffy. Not knowing what you were going to get back exactly, Janet. Sorry, Janet meant Diffie there. Steve coming in from England, I imagine here. If all goes to plan, we should be immigrants of the legal type by mid-September after a month away on holiday. Steve planning a move here. Thanks for that. 78K, how many cousins do I have? I have a few cousins, but I don't think they watch the videos, Diffie. Billabong looking for ambassadors, Stu. Probably. They went bankrupt a few years ago, Diffie. But as I said the other day, it's a comfortable T-shirt with the pocket here. Microphone in the pocket. Nobody sees it. Beautiful. Bronny coming in also. learning Spanish at the moment, as I love my holidays in Spain and I want to be respectful to the local people I interact with, their best wishes. Yeah, I mentioned that, Bronny, when I was in the hotel in Santander. I was sitting at the bar having a drink, and people were coming up to the woman behind the bar, and some people were trying to speak Spanish, and I had a bit of a chuckle with some people's effort, but at least they were making an effort. That's the most important thing. I also went into another bar, and I think the England game was on that night. I think, was it Sunday, was it, the England game? And a group of people came in to the restaurant. It was a restaurant where the football was on. And the waitress or the waiter went up to them and said, in Spanish, of course, what would you like? Are you going to have something for dinner? Because that time of the night they want to, have people eating rather than drinking. And this group of people said, no, drinking. And there was a discussion went on after that, and the staff tried to explain, because they didn't really speak much English, that they would prefer that they weren't just drinking, that they had something to eat as well. But I don't know whether the message got across or not. And right at that very moment, England scored a goal. And of course, the emotions came out, let's say. The emotions came out with this group of people from England. What else we got going on here? Erica, for about 10 years, I spent my summers in San Vicente de la Barquera, the only campsite in those days. Fond memories. Yeah, it's a nice place, San Vicente. Apparently famous for the seafood. El Conquistador. Hola, Stuart, I've got a product. El Conquistador T-shirts. What size do you wear? Just a large, El Conquistador. Just a large. Don't know if there's a sizing difference between a large in the States and a large here, but large is the size that I use here. What else we got? Kenneth? What else? Victoria will be heading to Madrid in the beginning of August for the first time to meet friends. Looking forward to it. Good luck with the trip, Victoria. Coming there from Portimao. Stu coming in also here. Windy down there in Santa Cruz de Tenerife. Thanks, Stu, for that. Enjoying life down there, no doubt. Diffie says, I would have voted for Sir Joe Bjelke-Petersen back in the day. I would have. I probably wouldn't have voted for Sir Joe, Diffie, considering that I'm not a Queenslander, mate. I come from the other side of the country. So no voting for Joe, unless he ran for Prime Minister, that is. I would have had the opportunity, but don't really know if Sir Joe and my politics were on the same level, if you get my drift. I think you have to be a Queenslander to vote for Mr. Bjelke-Petersen. It was a bit controversial back in the day. John. Hi, Stu. Good to see you. Good evening. Sorry, the Green Party in Ireland are on their last legs. Thank God. Love the channel. Thanks, John, for that. John saying, don't mind the other person that talked about the mic. Looks cool. Yeah, it's all about the broadcast. Sound is the most important thing, as I have said many a time on this channel. You can have a fantastic image, but if you can't hear what the person's saying, what's the point? Whereas if you have sound and no image at all, and I'll demonstrate this. If you have sound and no image at all, things don't really change, right? Because you can still understand what I'm saying. But the other way around, if you have bad, right? So sound's important. And like I said, the other type of mic, a little bit too fiddly for this type of broadcast. It's okay when you can do the editing. If something fails, you can record it afterwards. But when you go live, you really have to have a broadcast mic. Jeffrey coming in from, where's that? Estarted or something, is it? Not sure where that is. Erica saying, being the granddaughter and daughter of old-fashioned photographers, I still stick to traditional cameras when I travel. Yeah, some people do, Erica. But like I said, the digital, the ability to just be able to see what the photo was like immediately. So, for example, if you talk about professional photographers, a sports photographer, back in the day when they're trying to get that, that winning shot, whether it's a goal in a football game, whether it's a cricket game, American football, whatever. Imagine you thought you had the winning shot, and you sent off the roll to the processing lab, and you get the call when you get back to the office because there was no mobile phone, so you probably had to get the message the next day. Sorry, mate. Yeah, blank roll. Oh. But with the digital, you can see basically what you've got in that particular moment. And if you didn't get that winning shot, maybe you get the chance to get another one. Don't know. But if you get a dodgy roll of film, or for whatever reason you don't, you've got your settings wrong, for example, which is also something you can check fairly well with a digital camera. You can check your settings when it comes to your ISO, when it comes to your shutter speed, all of those things, and get it right, which was more difficult to do. What's this? Estartir is on the Costa Brava, not too far from Roses. Sounds like a nice place. Sound quality, according to Bronny, the main thing. From what I said there, I love the outdoor garden broadcasts. Yeah, so when you can edit a video, and let's say, for example, you do have crackling sound in your audio, which has happened to me, or maybe you forget to turn something on the microphone, or maybe you hit a button that you shouldn't on the microphone and the sound's a little bit out of whack, you can always go back and redo it. Whereas here, there's no going back. So I can control the microphone up here. I know that it's working. I can see the bars. So more or less it's under control, and it's separate to the camera. Whereas if you record with another type of audio, it has to go through the camera. And that can also be complicated. Anyway, too technical, but basically that's the reason. And you'll see everybody that does it, like podcasts on the internet and all of those type of things, radio studios, they've always got broadcast quality mics basically for that reason. And also for the sound quality, of course. Yusuf saying that Star Trek used to use the phrase "beam me up, Scotty." Was never actually used in Star Trek. Thanks, Yusuf. Not sure if that is related to anything else here. Jose Antonio asking what the meaning of fiddly is. Complicated. Yeah, fiddly means a little bit tickies, mickeys maybe. I don't know. A little bit fiddly, a little bit difficult to... can be a little bit technically complicated, Jose Antonio. Yeah, you're right. And Colin Steppenwolf in the chat. Been a while. Good to be back. Good to see you there. Fiddly has other meanings in Australia, probably in other countries as well, Divi. Don't know. And Roshito coming in from Austin, Texas. Now that's the end of the live stream. Oh, sorry, one more here from Ivor, or Evor. Sorry, I got that wrong. I remember Evor saying that that's how he prefers the name to be pronounced. Malaga, 30 degrees Celsius or centigrades there today. Thanks for that. And because you disappeared for a moment, hence the Star Trek reference. Thanks, Yusuf, for that. I wasn't sure whether it was related to another comment or something that I had done. But that is true, yes. William Shatner, beam me up, Scotty. So never referred to, or never mentioned in the show, was it? Beam me up, Scotty? Didn't know that. Thanks for pointing it out. Thanks for that. Now, as I said, the end of the live stream. I'll be back again on Thursday. Regular news video coming out tomorrow. Should everything be run smoothly. So hopefully I'll be able to get that out. Thanks for watching this evening. Thanks for participating in the chat. It's been a pleasure from my end as always. Hasta luego. Hasta entonces. Adios. Bye-bye.